Welcome to another electrifying episode of Youth Hub. I am Hosanna Okorafo. So today we will be delving into a very, special topic where vibrant voices of our generation come alive, and we want to embark on a powerful journey into the realm of youth advocacy, understanding rights. So this isn't just a conversation, it's a call to action for every young mind ready to stand up, speak up, and make a difference. Get ready to be inspired, empowered, and educated as we unlock the secrets to knowing and claiming your rights. Let's plunge into the spirit of advocacy and ignite what's in us. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. And when we do, our guests will be joining in. Welcome back for joining us. And if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television and Youth Hub. I am still remain your host, Hosanna Okorafo. So with us today is a legal practitioner, an activist, and a former student and youth leader who will be sharing insights about all of this. As a legal practitioner, he's going to be telling us the things we should do and the things we shouldn't do. Most of us don't even know our rights. We really do not know the law. Me too, sometimes. But I think that's the reason why we have Comrade Adamu with us. Thank you for joining us on the show.
I'm glad to be here.
I can see that from the way you're smiling. It shows that you are glad to educate us, because this is going to be very, very informative to us, right?
Yeah,
yes, it is going to be.
Sure, I hope so. I hope so.
Definitely. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And I like your tie. I mean, you're in ensemble. Oh, it shows the real. I am, a learned. You're not my colleague. Leonard, what should I put there?
Thank you. Let's just proceed.
All right. Thank you for joining on us today's episode of Youth Hub. Okay, so today we are talking about youth advocacy, and like I understand, you have been a former youth leader, even if it's in a school setting. You were a former school president, NAS, National Association, yeah. And you know how it feels to deal with youths. You know how it feels like to handle them when they have pressing issues, when their matters are rising, when it feels like we are being suffocated. So to you, what does youth advocacy mean, and why is it important?
Okay, so once again, good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me, Global TV. I am really honored to be here with you today. So in order to have a good understanding of what youth advocacy is, I believe, first of all, it's important we start by understanding the terminologies. Who are the youth? What does advocacy means? So according to the United Nations, youth are people, young persons, between the age of 15 to 24. According to the African Youth Charter, youths are people, citizens who are between the age of 15 to 35. However, in Nigeria, according to the New Youth Policy of 2019, youths are citizens who are between the age of 18 to 29, if I'm not mistaken. So moving to the next, which is advocacy. According to the Advanced English Dictionary, the word advocacy means active support for an idea, for a cause, and also, arguing and pursuing that idea, that cause that you believe in through convincing others and a lot of other ways that people employ to support their cause. So if you join the two, you come to realize that youth advocacy simply means youth coming together, youth between the age of 15 to 24, 15 to 35, 18 to 29, as the case may be, supporting a cause which is centered towards issues that are bothering them, and then, issues that are bothering the society at large. So why is it important? So according to statistics, particularly the one published by the UN, youth carries about 1.2 population of the world, or 1.2 billion population of the world. So which is getting to, I think, 18% of the world population. And then also, according to the statistics here in Nigeria, which was, I think, conducted last year, 2023, youth, I think the people who are under the age of 30 in Nigeria are about 70% of the population. So if you look at these statistics, you'll be able to realize that, youth wield a very powerful number, a very powerful percentage of the world population. So if these people can come together to champion a cause that is centered towards, addressing issues which they are facing, a lot of progress will be made. That is why I believe youth advocacy is very, very important.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Adamu Ahman. That was very inciting. I mean, I just got to learn that we have a stronger percent of youth all over the world. Now, let's come down to Nigeria. Most times, some of us don't even know some fundamental rights. Not everybody has the time to go through all the constitutional rights and all the things. We just know, oh, there's freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom of this and that. But can you explain some, fundamental rights every young person should be more aware of, emphasis on more aware of?
Okay, so thank you very much for asking me that question. When you are talking about fundamental rights, especially in Nigeria, you are talking about Chapter 4 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, particularly Section 33 to 43 of the Constitution. In fact, the chapter is even titled Fundamental Human Rights. So indeed, that chapter, the rights of citizens of Nigeria are highlighted, which include right to life. Every citizen of Nigeria has the right to life, and nobody can be denied that right without any legal justification. We have the right to personal dignity, or the right to dignity of human person, so to say, which entails that, nobody should be subjected to any inhumane or degrading treatment. Right to personal liberty. Under this particular right, I would like to just highlight some of the rights that a person being arrested has under this particular right, because you said some of the rights that I believe we should be more aware of.
Can we come back to that one?
Okay, so let's proceed. So, and then we also have the right to fair hearing, which I believe is very important.
Very, very important.
Before anybody can be penalized or punished.
Yes, he or she should have a right to fair hearing.
He or she must be given that right to fair hearing. But this right can be traced during the time of Adam and Eve, when they ate from the tree. From
the tree they were not supposed to touch.
Yes, so despite the fact that God is the all-knowing, God knows about things before they happen and why they happen, but he still decided to call them and give them that fair hearing before.
Let's hear from you, Adam. Let's hear from you, Eve. What happened?
You said?
I said, let's hear from you, Adam, and let's hear from you, Eve.
Okay.
What happened to
yes,
the tree?
yes. So they were given that right to fair hearing. In fact, it's also well captured, this particular right, in the principle of natural justice, in the Latin maxim, audi alteram partem. You have to hear the other side of the story. You don't judge by first
from whatever you hear, or just from one side.
From one side of the story. You also have to hear the other side of the story, and most importantly, regardless of the correctness of a decision, if right to fair hearing has not been given to a person,
that judgment cannot be passed.
Is null and void. Wow. So we also have right to freedom of association, which is under where the right to protest comes under right to freedom of association and assembly, right to freedom of thoughts, conscience and religion, right to freedom from discrimination, right to freedom of expression and the press too, and then right to freedom of movement. Like there are a lot of them, right to acquire movable and immovable property in Nigeria, and then a lot of them. But I must state that these rights are not absolute. There are situations whereby they can be derogated from, like there are instances, they have restrictions. This is also captured, I think, under Section 45 of the Constitution. So there are situations whereby this right can be denied. For example, somebody who has been sentenced to prison cannot say that, oh, I have the right to freedom of movement.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, and stuff like that. So this right also have their restrictions, and there are instances whereby they can be derogated from.
All right, thank you very much for that, deliberate and well-constructed answer. I mean, it's detailed. I actually learned something there. So how can youth become more aware? Because some of the youth are not even aware of most of this rights that you are intimating them on right now. How can they be more aware about their legal rights and protections?
Okay, I believe it also goes back to doing a lot of reading. I'm not saying this because I'm a lawyer, but I believe every citizen of this country should at least have a copy of Constitution that he or she consults from time to time to be informed about his rights, and some of the protections that he has, the privileges that he has. And then, though I'm also very mindful of the fact that, our laws in Nigeria are couched in a way that, a person that is not learned may not read and understand. That is why you should also have retained the services of a lawyer that, you consult, to get explanations on things. And, there's this impression that people have that, you only need a lawyer when you're in problem, but that's not true.
That's not true,
You need a lawyer to avoid getting into problems.
Yes.
So
yes.
you need a lawyer to, consult him to get some sensitizations about your rights, your obligations, your duties, how to go about things. But for those maybe that cannot afford the services, they can do well to, make a lot of research about those rights and, ask a lot of questions. You should have a lawyer friend.
I have one now. Okay, talking about everyone having to know their to have the Constitution. At some point, I feel like we have been so, should I say, pushed to the wall that we do not really care about this right, which brings me down to my next question to enlighten us. What are some of the main issues that propels young people to react when they are trying to advocate, like to protest or, want to take some kind of decisions or not even care about the law? What are some of these things that could propel you today?
Okay, the issue of protests nowadays is a very sensitive issue.
Very sensitive.
In the sense that, sometimes when you speak for it, you will be pictured as somebody who has been sponsored by the opposition to bring down the government. And if you speak against it, you will be labeled as somebody, who is who has been paid by the government to do so or something like that.
Yes.
But going to the question, sorry for the digression.
No, I understand.
Protest is a fundamental human right that every citizen in Nigeria has. In fact, it's a right that is not only recognized in our laws, but even in international laws and treaties, protest is recognized. It's a very strong tool that is used for social movement across the world. It's a way of speaking to the power to show displeasure, disapproval over things that are happening, especially some decisions, some policies of the government. And, it's also a way of, getting the government, holding the government accountable in a way. But going to the questions that what are some of the issues that make people to engage in protest? Basically, there are issues of injustice, hardship, insecurity, poverty, bad policy, bad governance, etc. Though, I must say this, that, in some instances we find ourselves in a situation like currently whereby this protest is being misused by a lot of people.
Yes.
Because it's a it has been turned into a political weapon to blackmail or fight the power unjustifiably.
Yes.
So, but basically, I believe these are some of the reasons why people participate: injustice, corruption, insecurity, hardship, bad policies, etc. So these are some of the reasons why people decide to participate.
I mean, to add to what you just said, I saw on the news today that one of the reps member was saying that this hoarding of food and palliatives that were meant for all the states is another thing that is propelling young people to protest. And it's really, really disheartening that we are somehow pushed to the wall, or we are neglected, or we are not seen or heard enough. Emphasis on the word heard enough. I think I should use the word heard enough. We are not heard enough. We are not given the opportunity to really, really practice our legal rights. I mean, sometimes we are being cut short. So which brings me to asking, how can we discuss our legal boundaries? How do we know when to stop? How do we know? Can you just discuss the legal boundaries and protections for peaceful protests? Like, if we go ahead to, okay, let's show that we are not happy about this thing or whatever, how do we go about knowing when to stop?
Okay, thank you very much for asking me that question. Just like I said earlier, protest is a right, but it's a right that comes with duties. You have a right to protest, but as a protester, you also have a duty to ensure that your protest is peaceful. You understand? So, and then you also have to have it in mind that, the fact that you have the right to protest does not mean you can use that protest to infringe on the right of others. So just like the saying goes, your right stops where another person's right begins.
Yeah.
So you have to ensure that the protest is peaceful, and you also have to ensure that in the process of doing the protest, you do not infringe on any person's rights in the process, especially those who are not participating in the protest.
Okay, thank you very much, Comrade Ahman. We'll take a quick break from here, and when we are back, we'll see how Comrade Ahman would, shed light on how youths can build strong advocacy network and alliances to support their cause. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. So earlier we were talking about how we can know our legal boundaries, where we need to stop, and how we need to, take ourselves back when we are doing too much, even if we are trying to be heard, So I'm thinking also, it's not just about involving yourself in advocacy, being an activist. What or how can we build strong advocacy networks and alliances to support our cause? Because it's not just about doing it. What are the things that can support us, in this advocacy?
Okay, you see, building network is very, very important in advocacy. But to do that, there is need for unity and teamwork. And also there is need for sincerity of purpose. We are in an era of technology, an era of media. Media and the technologies that we have can also play a very vital role in that. But most importantly, we have to have that sense of teamwork among youth while they are pursuing any cause. In their cause of advocacy, there has to be that unity, that teamwork, that collaboration, and also sincerity of purpose.
Like you mentioned earlier, we need to be really sincere that this is the reason why we are doing this, not hiding behind the cloak of something to do some other thing. Okay, there's so many people, so many youths or young people who want to be activists, who want to, be people that stand up to their rights and speak up against bullying and most of all those things you mentioned, and all of that. So what advice would you give to young activists who are, passionate about making a difference but have little obstacles in doing all of this?
Okay, my advice to you is that nothing good comes easy. Nothing good comes easy. It's really difficult. It's really difficult thing to do, but you should be patient. You should be consistent. You should work hard, and most importantly, you should try not to compromise your integrity, your aim, your objective for your personal gain. And then you should also try and also work hand in hand with those who are in position to help you, not to compromise your objective, but also to get the necessary support that you need, to like foster what you are fighting for, to champion your cause. I give you this example. There are now in these days, just like we were talking earlier, issue of protest is something that comes with a lot of challenges, especially in the era that we find ourselves, where protesters are being attacked, and the rest of it. I could recall when I was the National Vice President of Nigeria, National Association of Nigerian Student Nuns, sometime in 2022 when we decided that due to the lingering ASU strike that we're going to hold protests across the 36 states in Nigeria. So I went back to my state to lead the protest there. And while we were preparing for this protest, though a lot of people thought it wasn't necessary, I deemed it fit to go and have a meeting with the security agencies, the police and DSS. I spoke with the Commissioner of Police to give us securities that will be there to ensure that there is no breakdown of law and order during the protest. The director of DSS also do the same. So surprisingly, during the protest, hoodlums tried to attack the protest. But had it been, I didn't take this step to involve law enforcement agencies. Would
that be misinterpreted?
Yeah, a lot of, it will be counterproductive because those who came out to express their, displeasure over the ASU strike would have been attacked, and then a lot of things will happen that will come to regret. So which takes me back to the point that I was making, that you have to also, extend a hand, make requests from those in position to help you, not for you to compromise your purpose, like what a lot of people will do to, meet these politicians, collect money or something like that. But you also need that support. And then most importantly, stick to the aims and objective of your advocacy, like what you have set up to achieve, and also don't compromise on your target.
All right, so taking us back to you saying something about what happened, the rights you have to when you're being arrested in the process of protests. Can you just share more light on that quickly?
Okay, while I was talking about the right to personal liberty, I made mention of some of the rights of an arrested person. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah. So under that, anybody who has been arrested has some rights. Number one, he has the right to be informed of the reason he's been arrested, why he's been arrested. Number two, he has the right to remain silent until he consults a legal practitioner of his own choice or any other person of his own choice. Not to be too quick to speak or write statements and stuff like that. And you also have the right to be charged to court within a reasonable time, not to just be arrested and you'll be kept in cell, for days, except where there is a court, approval for that, to that effect. So.
All right, thank you. I really learned a lot. So finally, let's wrap this up. How can youth ensure the advocacy leads to a lasting change, not just temporary, solutions?
Okay, I think under that, there is need for boldness, there is need for courage, there is need for consistency, and also they have to ensure that they don't derogate from their aims and objectives. They also have to very importantly ensure that their voices are heard in a legitimate way, and they don't give up on their goals. And most importantly, they don't compromise, because a lot of things happen that
along the line they begin to compromise and forget the purpose, the aim.
So no compromise, hard work, patience, commitment, and then it will happen by God's grace.
Okay, that was very, very insightful and educative. I mean, I learned a lot, and I hope you learned or picked up a few things to jot down about youth advocacy and understanding our legal rights. That's all for today. Thank you so much for joining us on Youth Hub. Please stay tuned for more interesting episodes. I still remain your host, Hosanna Okorafo. Bye for now.